Today we're reviewing the TCL QD Mini LED QM7 TV. That is a mouthful. Hi, welcome to ZGadgetReview. I'm sorry this TV review took so long. There was a lot going on, but we are here now, so let's get started. So the TCL QD Mini LED QM7 TV, as its name says it, is a 4K Mini LED TV with quantum dots. The whole point of the quantum dots, if you're not familiar with it, is that it makes a TV more colorful. Mini LEDs are much better than regular LEDs because the control of light in the TV is much better, giving you better black colors and better contrast. Now the TV is retailing for $497 on Amazon, $499 via TCL's website. So let's call it at even $500. The TV is 55 inches. This TV supports Dolby Vision, HDR10, HDR10 Plus, ALLM, VRR, and it has a gaming-centric menu that you can use when you play video games. Let's start with the hardware. This is raised plastic. It's all squares all over the back of the TV. It's plastic, but you see, it's pretty flexible plastic, so it's not super high quality. It definitely feels like a cheap plastic shell. But here we have the subwoofer. This is an Onkyo sound system. We have the subwoofer here. Onkyo Ultra Bass has this plastic tab that I'm not going to pull out. This is circle. Kind of feels like it dips down. It goes in the edges. And then here we have the space for the subwoofer to come out of. And of course it hits the wall and it creates that subwoofer effect. So here we have two USB ports, a 3.0 and a 2.0. We have an Ethernet port. We have a total of 4 HDMI ports. The first HDMI port is 4K 144 Hz. Second port is 4K 120 Hz. Third port is 4K 60 Hz. And then here we have the fourth port, which is your 4K eARC port. Also supports 60 Hz. Now we have cable antenna port, your AV-in adapter, headphones, and your optical audio output jack. Let's look at some test materials that will show us how well the screen looks. Now here we're using the white pattern to look at the TV for screen uniformity. I didn't notice any sort of blotches on the screen or anything like that. The TV looked pretty uniform when looking at this white image. Now here we have the star field pattern. You can see the difference in brightness between all three. I decided to put them all together in order for you to be able to see the difference here. I didn't see any issues in the screen when the stars will appear. You could see in the dark where the stars were going to be coming up because of how the screen lit up. So you will see kind of like gray areas in the screen when the stars were starting to appear, and then gradually how the screen will go dark when the stars disappear. In regular content, you don't really notice this. It only happens when you're having this pattern. And of course, these patterns are created in order to stress test the TV. Now, next up is the faces in this Dispersion Mansell disc. And here I want you to notice a difference between Dolby Vision and HDR. But I do like that you have a little more detail on Dolby Vision than in HDR. I can see the colors in the skin of the models a little better. I can see the details of their hair and skin details much better on the Dolby Vision portion of these clips than in the HDR portion of the clips. Now let's look at the example of the Honey. This is still the Dispersion Mansell's disc. Here I stop the image, and what I want you to notice is that my hand is kind of pointing out at a little bit of the glow that you get around the drops of honey. It is noticeable once you're staring at it and you're like looking for it, but it isn't so noticeable that it's going to be distracting. You can see a little bit of haloing around that honey drop in HDR and Dolby Vision, but I like how the honey looks on this. It has that nice yellow look, that translucent look, and you don't lose any of that detail. It is hard to see in person. Again, it's something that you have to look for. I'm letting you know about it because, of course, this is a review and I have to disclose everything that I saw in the review. Let's look at some real content. Here we have WALL-E, and this movie is playing in HDR. So you can see here, you can see actually all the different contrasts and colors in outer space you can see here. And there is some jitter, which I noticed when I was doing the test. Here we have Encanto, which is another Disney movie. This one is a little brighter, more colorful. Now I'm appearing here because I have to cut the clip in order to avoid copyright. I'm showing you this movie to kind of show you what a newer movie looks like in HDR. It does a really good job at reproducing the colors, showing you the characters, all the details that you're supposed to be able to see. All right, here we go with Gravity. And the reason why I like using Gravity, this is a Blu-ray disc, so this is standard definition. And of course, because Gravity takes place in space all of the time, here we have planet Earth contrasting with space. You have the stars here. You can see barely George Clooney's character making an appearance here in the corner. Standard definition, as you can see here. It does a really good job, the TV, at also upscaling the image. Here we can see that it is upscaling it to 4K 24. And of course, this movie is 1080p. Very, very bright for SD content. Really, really good. You can see all the details on her costume. Here we have the opening of John Wick with the thunder in the back, New York at night. The reason why I like this John Wick opening scene is because it's dark. You have a lot of light. You have rain in the scene. The black bars here at the bottom and top are really, really good. They're maintaining the dark that you need on the scene. I don't know if the camera is catching it, but you can see the cracks in the paint here. You know, you have missing paint here in these portions, but you can see the cracking of the paint on the watch, the wear and tear of the watch on the sides as well, or I guess it's a clock of the clock. Here we have the Batman, and the reason why I like the Batman, the newer Batman, the Robert Pattinson Batman movie, for example, you can see the Batmobile and you can see the glow of the exhaust. Look how strong the light is. So for example, in this scene, we have rain going on everywhere, the brightness of the shots. And then here we get a good view of Batman's cowl. You can see that there's a raindrop right here. You can see the stitching of the cowl right here. It does a really good job of reproducing the details. The reason why I really like to use this is because the Penguin thinks that he has beat Batman. We have this big explosion that's very bright, kind of like blinding, that gives us a good view of how the TV can handle bright things on the screen. If it affects the edges of the screen, if it affects the top and bottom bars of the TV or the corners here. And here we have Tom Cruise's. I don't know if you're noticing it, but there is a little bit of jitter on this TV that I don't really, I myself find it a little distracting. When it's a fast-paced action scenes, like the scenes that we see here, we do get some jitter that I'm able to notice. The TV did great with regular content. I didn't really find blooming or light leak. When watching content and having subtitles, I did notice a little bit of blooming around the subtitles. It wasn't very noticeable. Of course, it's something that I was looking for. So if it's something that you don't necessarily look for, you might not even notice it. It might not bother you. For the jitter, I used different de-jitter options on the TV, and I couldn't find one that I felt okay with using. I didn't really like what it did to the image. It gave that soap opera effect and stuff. Like I mentioned on that Tom Cruise movie, when I was watching Wall-E, the part in the space where you see the shape, you saw a little bit of jitter. It wasn't as noticeable as the Tom Cruise movie, but the TV does definitely exhibit a little bit of jitter that, again, can be a little annoying. But besides that, the TV was great at brightness, it was very colorful, and contrast was really good as well. Using the Xbox Series X TV details, we can see here that this TV is compatible with everything the Xbox Series X can throw at it. But you hold the menu button here and it's going to open the gaming menu. And so it's going to show you here all the settings that you have. You have the aiming aid here that you can choose. And if you turn it on, then you get this reticule, makes this permanent aiming reticule here. I think that's how you say it, reticule, right? It's always there. So anytime that you zoom into your weapon or you're just walking around, you have something that's there to help you aim. And then here you can change your frame rates to have high frame rate on or off. I'm going to turn it on. And then here on the top, you have a little bit of information of how the game is performing at the moment. And then here you can change your picture mode. You can go from the original, which is as your settings that you have if you have set up. You have three choices: original, first person shooter, and RPG. I prefer to have it on original because that's what I calibrated my TV to. And we have here shadow enhancement, level 1, level 2. You can see how it erases the brightness on the screen pretty much. And that will be, if you haven't calibrated your TV again, this should make a big difference on your gaming. I personally don't see a huge difference and I prefer to have it off. Then here's just for the regular menu, and then your FAQ explains to you what all these things mean and how to use it. Now you don't have to have this on the whole time that you're playing a game. You can get rid of it the moment you don't need it anymore. And if you're using the aiming aid, as you can see, is always going to be there whether you have the gaming menu on or not. I personally don't use it. I'm using it right now because I'm making the video, but I find it kind of annoying that it's always there and I don't really see a big difference. Let's see how we're doing. 11 to 10. It's not bad. We're winning the game. The remote for the TV is super skinny, is very long. What I really like about this remote is that the remote lights up in the dark. It's motion sensitive, and when you move the remote, the buttons on the remote light up, whether there's light or not. So this will light up all of the time. This is really bright, so you won't have any issues when you're trying to use the TV in the dark. The TV can be operated using your voice, either using the built-in microphone on the remote or directly speaking to the TV. There are ways to turn that off. I'm sure you have noticed the little lights down here at the bottom of the screen. These lights are there throughout the TV being powered on when you have the microphone on the TV disabled. This TV is made to hear your commands to work by voice. So if you flip the switch here, it tells you TV microphone is enabled and the little lights go away. If you have the microphone off, like I do, TV microphone is disabled, then you'll get those little three lights right there immediately to let you know that the microphone has been disabled. The lights will turn off when you turn the TV off, but they will be on while the TV is powered on. The light can be distracting at first when you're watching TV because it's always on, but eventually you'll get used to it and you won't even notice it. If the light bothers you that much and you don't want to use your microphone, you can always put a tape over it if you want to do it. Now here's me showing you how reflective the TV is. I have a light right here, a lamp, and as you can see, it's reflecting on the TV very well. You can see my hand moving, and this gives you an idea that if you have light right in front of the screen, you're going to be able to see your reflection and pretty much everything that's in your room. So my recommendation is, if you have light in your room, hopefully it's overhead, or if you have it to the side or behind the TV, in order to avoid the reflections on the screen. Let's talk about sound. Sound in this TV was not great. Despite having that big subwoofer speaker in the back of it, it didn't really do much. The TV does get loud enough. It's a lot louder than I expected it to be. Now, that doesn't mean that the sound is quality sound. It's serviceable sound. And I was expecting that subwoofer in the back will give me some bass and explosions or, music or anything like that. And it didn't do that at all. It feels like it's there just because they can put it and maybe charge you more money because it's there, but it didn't really do anything. I was expecting it to be like the Hisense TV that I reviewed that kind of has the same speaker in the back. That TV makes a great use of that subwoofer in the back. This didn't do anything. This might as well not be there. I even put my hand back there a few times to feel if I could feel vibrations or anything like that. I could feel some vibrations, but it wasn't enough to amount to anything. So if you're looking for a TV that is going to give you sound without the need of a sound bar, this will do that. If you want quality sound, this isn't going to do that, and you might as well get a home theater system or a soundbar. I'm not going to be doing a deep dive on Google TV on this video. I'm going to do a separate video for Google TV, but just know that Google TV is a smart TV platform for this TV. It is actually really, really good. I was very surprised at how well it does. I have a ranking of smart TV platforms: WebOS, LG Smart TV platform is number 1. Right now I will put Google TV at number 2, Amazon Fire TV at number 3, Vizio Smartcast number 4. It is very fast to go into what it is that you are trying to go to. As you can see here, I just went into Netflix. Then here is going to put your continue watching. Any content that you've been watching in some of these apps is going to show here, so you can go directly. Then you of course have your live TV apps and things like that here, movies that they're trying to sell you. Has a lot of content that's readily available the more you go down. But what I really like is that you don't need to scroll a lot in order to get to your apps or in order to get to your continue watching. That TV does have a button for different profiles. And what I thought was that the profiles will allow you to, when you went into the profile, to have different content for different people. But that's not the case, because as you can see here, we have the same content that is shown on the other one to continue watching. Of course, it has the same apps because it's the apps that I have logged into. The only reason that you have the profile button is for YouTube. So when you are in YouTube and you have selected your profile here, then it's going to take you into your YouTube account so you can watch whatever YouTube content you want. To me, it was a missed opportunity because I thought that the fact that you could have several profiles logged into the TV will mean that each person will have their own experience when it comes to controlling the Google experience. But as I showed you, that is not the case. The TV right now is on sale for $500. And at that price, it's a great get. The picture is good. And while the sound is lackluster, to me overall, it's a good TV. But if you're upgrading from a 1080p TV or an older LED 4K TV, you're definitely going to see the difference with this TV. And at $500, it's a great purchase. What do you think about that TCL QD Mini LED QM7 TV? Do you have any other questions that I didn't answer in this review? Do you have the TV? And do you have any feedback for everybody else who can see this video later? Put it in the comment section. That is it for me. Go ahead and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Go ahead and hit that bell so you can be alerted every time we have new videos. And thank you very much for watching.